I am somewhat risk averse. So me personally, I would prefer to place my money in areas where I think it has a greater chance of growing than just throwing it a whole bunch of altcoins and hoping that one of them moons.
Hey everybody, today I'm very pleased to be joined by a dear friend of the channel. He hasn't been on the channel one-on-one in a long time. Randall from Crypto Love, how are you doing?
Ooh, Shagalak, what's up, man? I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Now, I just got to tell everybody before we get started, we're going to talk about Crypto Love's top 3 altcoins right now. But just so everybody knows, Crypto Love taught me how to live stream. He pretty much made this channel.
Well, I mean, you did most of the work. I just said, I mean, you literally did all the work. Like when I see that you succeeded, it just shows me that good things happen in the world because you literally reached out to every YouTuber out there and you said, hey, can we stream together? And everybody said no. Yep. But I was like, yeah, let's do it. And you were making these comics, Bitboy comic, which was freaking awesome. And then from that point on, you like networked with everybody. You produced more content than anybody else. You worked harder than anybody else. So like, it's just, it's evidence in the world that hard work gets you good places.
Yeah, I appreciate that. You're correct. You were the first person that, I ever went on their channel before that had a big following and, always have been appreciative of that and glad to have you on the channel. But the reason why we're here is to talk altcoins, talk crypto. That's what we do. So I want to know what right now are your top 3 altcoins?
All right. So this is going to kind of take people aback just a little bit.
Whoa.
Because everybody wants these like little moon coins. All right. And there are probably some little moon coins, and I could give you some little moon coins, but I've been thinking about it all day. And I am somewhat risk averse. So me personally, I would prefer to place my money in areas where I think it has a greater chance of growing than just throwing it a whole bunch of altcoins and hoping that one of them moons. So that being said, my top 3 altcoins, first one's not an altcoin, it's called Bitcoin. Second one is Monero, for a reason I'll tell you in a minute. And third one is Litecoin, for a reason I'll tell you in a minute. So I got reasons behind all of those. Old school. I know. I was looking at it today and I was like, man, these are old cryptos. No one's going to like these. But there's a good reason behind all of them. So I'm reading this book right now called Why Gold, Why Now? And basically he talks about this modern monetary theory where basically they have infinite money. So the treasury just keeps creating more money and then they get this 0% no maturity date loan, which they sell to the Fed. And so basically they can just print unlimited money. And so because of that, having an asset of a fixed supply, something like gold or something like Bitcoin, gives you a very good hand up when they're printing all of this money because there's really nothing else that will protect you like these 2 assets will. However, he goes on to say that potentially Bitcoin is an experiment by the government for us to actually create FedCoin for them, to basically perfect FedCoin for them. And then they're going to go from there. So, and maybe in the process, they'll do like what Ray Dalio was talking about, where they had in 1933, they made gold illegal, where they could do the same thing with Bitcoin. So who knows? That could potentially happen. That's why the number 2 one is Monero, because Monero is private, secure, things like that. And then the third one is Litecoin, because basically with Bitcoin, most altcoins are degenerators. The price goes down. There are a few that are oscillators that bounce back and forth with Bitcoin's price. Litecoin is the next oscillator that's set to pop. So when it does, you could potentially 10x your Bitcoin based on that one alone. So those are my 3 picks. Not super small altcoins. There are some that I keep my eye on in terms of super small altcoins. And I think for people who want to find out some ones I would probably pick, you could check out the live stream that we did with Token Metrics guys, because there were some really good picks on there. But those would actually be my top 3, because I would be like most secure to buy those and maybe not make 1000x gains, but definitely get a good return on my investment over the next few years.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people underestimate what the volatility to the downside is in different cryptocurrencies. Like when you look at Bitcoin, I think most people, and maybe you agree with me here, that we will see another bear market, but it may not be as bad as normal. But generally it drops 85%, but altcoins drop 97 to 98%. So I think like really picking some of those top coins, like you said, may not be as sexy, may not get the 1000x gains, but you're not going to get the 98% losses with a lot of those coins. So when it comes to prohibition of Bitcoin, do you not think that he's just kind of like the Ray Dalio? We talked about this on my channel a couple of days ago. Do you not think that's like really manipulative? Like he can't possibly actually believe that.
Dude, I think it's actually a way for him to buy Bitcoin at a lower price. I totally think it was manipulation. Like it reminds me of a few years ago when Jamie Dimon was saying Bitcoin's a total sham. Yeah. And then shortly thereafter, when the price tanked, JP Morgan bought up a bunch of Bitcoin. So I think it is a sham because Ray Dalio got in very late and he wants to buy it at a discount. So he's using what he can to tank the price so he can buy it at as low a price as possible. I think that, what he was saying where they basically made gold illegal back in 1933, I don't think that could really happen, because if something like that were to happen, people would probably just move to somewhere else where it's legal. I mean, you can move a lot easier nowadays than you could back in 1933.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not like they can pat you down for Bitcoin at the airport.
So let's talk about Monero, because this is one that, we're talking about safe picks, but a lot of people would say that Monero as a privacy coin is something that, the governments are definitely going to try to ban, and they're going to try, like, we saw with Binance in Australia, they banned like a bunch of coins and said they're not tradable anymore, including Monero. What are your thoughts on privacy coins in terms of, the way the governments are probably going to target those? Because that is a reality, I believe.
Yeah, I always look at it kind of as these fat, slow bureaucrats versus the fastest, most creative people in the world creating cryptocurrencies. So while there will be regulation, there's always going to be ways to get around it. And people who are going to need privacy for their money are going to be able to find it in Monero or in whatever other privacy coins come up. The other reason that I did mention Monero, and something that I forgot, is right now where it is, it's at a very stable support level where it's been previously. So it's kind of in a pullback, and at least it appears like it's a good purchasing opportunity for it if you were looking to protect your money.
Yeah. And I think, like, for me, I mean, I love to hear about the technicals. I've been saying for a while about privacy coins that, kind of like we saw with prohibition, with alcohol, the more you try to suppress it, the more you try to hide something that people want, that there's a demand for, the higher the value is going to go up. It's kind of like what we saw with, privacy. Well, is what we see with ammunition, for instance, and guns in America. Whenever there's a shooting and people start talking about gun reform, ammo gets very hard to buy, not because, it's hard to buy, because it's gone, So I think we kind of see the same thing with privacy coins. Every time they come out with stories saying we're going to ban those, the price actually goes up. So let's move on and talk about number 3 here. Okay. Let's talk about Litecoin. And, this is something that I think a lot of people don't know, is that right now Grayscale is buying a ton of Litecoin. It's like one of their number one coins they're buying right now. Do you think that, like, the safety of Bitcoin and the Bitcoin trust, the Grayscale trust, do you think people will see that same kind of value in Litecoin? And do you think the Grayscale trust can make the price of Litecoin go up?
I definitely think it will, because right now they're selling the Grayscale Litecoin at 18 times premium. Now, the people who buy that have to hold it for a year, but that makes me think that they're buying it thinking that the price is going to go up quite a bit from where it is right now. So there's definitely that. And Grayscale's buying up 80% of Litecoin. And right now it's something that not many people are talking about. I mean, me personally, ever since when Charlie Lee sold the top back in 2017 or 2018.
What an epic moment that was.
Right? Yeah. And he told everybody, he's like, this is the top. If you can't sustain a 95% hit, you might want to get out now.
Yep.
I'm selling all of my Litecoin. And, I lost a lot of faith in Litecoin, but just based on technicals and kind of what's going on with Litecoin, I think that now is a good opportunity to purchase it. Not because I think that it's going to do great things as a currency, but I think that based on it being an oscillator, based on Grayscale buying it and selling it at a premium, I think there's a good chance it could do pretty well.
When Charlie Lee sold his Litecoin and said it was the top of the market, did you believe it?
No, I actually thought that he was selling, because the reason that I thought he was selling it is because at the same time there was the big Bitcoin Bcash wars going on.
Yeah.
And Roger Ver sold all of his Bitcoin for Bcash and then was saying Bitcoin Cash is the best thing on earth. It's the real Bitcoin. And I actually thought that Charlie Lee sold his Litecoin so that he could say Litecoin's great without owning any. So that way he could be like a real protagonist for Litecoin. So that's why I thought. I didn't realize until months later when the market tanked that was why he sold.
Yeah, no, right. Well, what you just said, that's actually his reasoning, supposedly, was because he felt like, by owning so much, it didn't give him the, he was too biased to be able to lead the company, right? Which didn't make a lot of sense. We all know he sold the top. And, I remember back then, of course, that was when, I bought Bitcoin in 2012, but 2017 was when I really got like full-fledged in. And I just remember reading that and thinking like, no, this isn't the top of the market. It's just getting started. Come on, guys. And so that actually is like a lot of the reason why on this channel, I try to educate people like, look, bear markets happen and it will probably happen again. So that's some really good insight. Well, Randall, listen, thank you so much for coming on the show today, sharing those picks. And I do just want to say to my audience, like I owe you a lot for the success of this channel, and the Bit Squad needs to go show you some love. Make sure you guys go subscribe to his channel down below in the comments. He's got good stuff he puts out. He's been in the space for a long time. So thank you for joining us. You got any last words?
I just want to say thank you so much for having me on. And it's been an absolute pleasure. And dude, it just makes me happy every time I see how successful you've gotten. So it's freaking awesome.